Hello everyone, welcome back to my backyard street lighting display. What you're looking at here is a 1965 Westinghouse OV-25 Silverliner street light. As many of y'all know, this is the original Cobra head. Obviously not this generation, but nonetheless, this model line was the very first in the Cobra head design. Westinghouse pretty much invented that. And I'm pleased to say that I have quite a few of the OV-25 variations in my collection. This is a mid-cycle second generation. I guess not really mid-cycle, but this is the kind of revised second generation model. The reason it's revised is because the original second gen had the same top housing as the flat bottom, and also a lot of the internals were the same, ballast and such, the terminal block. And the photocell was mounted right up here. I don't know if you can see it, but there should still be a circle cast for both the old location and the new location. Because this is, like I said, a 65, so this was before they stopped casting the little imprint for the other mold. So, as you can see, it's a very sleek fixture. It's in pretty decent shape overall. I got this off of Marketplace, or actually no, Craigslist, sorry. Probably a year and a half ago now. No, actually 2 years ago. Yeah, 2 years ago now. Pretty much. I guess in July or something it'll be 2 years. This is part of my haul. Oh, a bug landed on my camera lens. It was part of my haul of General Electric Form 400 power packs, and there was also two M400s, one M400 split door, and an OV-25. Sorry, I don't know why, but all of a sudden my allergies have appeared. Anyways, so yeah, this was pretty cool find. It was my first ever OV-25. Open it up here, and unfortunately, because of the wherever it came from in Oklahoma City, I don't know if it was a private lot or if it was on the streets. I have no idea where this power packs and stuff were from, because there were so many of them, like 20 something, and we got all of them. But anyways, they were $240 only for the other fixtures besides the power packs, including this. So sadly, even though the ballast did kind of work on 120, so it wasn't a bad ballast or anything, it just couldn't, get up to the right amperage or brightness or anything. So I did pull the original ballast out. I kept it, still have all of it, and until I find something a little bit better fitting, this is what's in here now. It's just a standard 400 watt M59/H33 ballast, made by Universal. It's the best possible mounting we could have done, because it's obviously a lot smaller than the original ballast, and that happened because it is an old fixture. So yeah, it doesn't look amazing. I don't really enjoy this. I need to tie these wires up so they're not hanging out like that, but we maintained the terminal block location, which is right above where the capacitors would have been had this, still been original. They go right there in the center, and then the ballast goes here. On third generation fixtures, the caps are, I believe they're right on the sides of each one, and then the terminal block is off to the side as well. But this was the first year they used a porcelain/ceramic, I don't know which one it is, terminal block, because before that it was Bakelite plastic. And I actually have a second gen from 64 and a flat bottom. Both the second gen from 64 and the flat bottom are actually 120 volt and original, so that's nice. But this one I can run metal halide bulbs on a little easier. Of course, that's not what's in here. That's what's in here, but nonetheless, it's a beautiful fixture. Of course, it does have some interior corrosion. These were outside in questionable storage methods for who knows how long, probably 20, 30 years, so This would have been in better shape if it was still on a pole when I got it, but it was not. I did have to do a little modification, or a repair rather. The rivets sheared themselves off on the reflector mounting tab, so I screwed it on, and now it's good. So yeah, it's really well made. The casting is really rigid and thick, and it's a pretty heavy fixture, and the hinge design, which I used to not understand, is actually pretty nice now that I understand how the door is removed. When I first got my OV-400, I thought you had to just take these screws off to get the door off, but actually no, that's not how that works. You twist it a little bit and rock it, and then it unclips itself. You can kind of see those tabs, and then it pops off. That way, if this thing does swing open, which is very uncommon anyway, it won't fly off and the door will just, fall off. So these latches don't really let go. Also, this is in really great shape. The spring is in perfect condition. It's not seized. So everything about this light is good. I just cleaned it up in the sense that, it no longer has all the gross crap it had inside of it, but I haven't touched any of this corrosion because I honestly don't know what to even do about it. If anybody has any tips or methods to make that a little nicer on the inside, let me know. I also will note that the original glass had to get replaced because this did fall off when I used to not use real bolts on the poles out here. It fell down during a storm. Didn't damage anything but the glass and the bulb, and I had a spare one from a flat bottom OV-25, so it has a 1963 era glassware. Normally the Westinghouse logo on this era of Westinghouse would be right here, not at the bottom like that. So that is technically a first gen / early second gen glass pattern. It's different than what would have come on here. Only slightly though, it's hard to notice the differences between these. So enough nerding out about this. These are my absolute favorite Cobra heads, so that's kind of why I have a lot to say about it. Growing up, these things were everywhere, and still are everywhere actually, around me. They're a very common fixture. So I'm very fortunate to have a couple different versions of this, as well as the two-door, the power door version, and the 4th generation version, and the remote version, which actually is behind me. You kind of see the inspiration between the two. So anyways, those fixtures are actually 10 years apart, funnily enough. Go ahead and fire this thing up. Of course, we're using clear mercury because that's the way. I do have plenty of DX and other phosphors, but I prefer clear 90% of the time because that's what they're almost always put with when they're installed. And like I said, I still have a bunch of these around me. They're mostly the 3rd generation models. There's a couple 2nd gens from like 67 or 68 around me, but the majority of the ones locally are 3rd generation models or even 4th gen models. But the outline is still the same, and they usually never have a photocell socket, so this is perfect. These things have, I don't know why, but always caught my eye more than any other medium-sized Cobra head out there. And having finally gotten to own them, I realize they are also really some of the best Cobra heads ever made in terms of like actual build quality and construction and such. And for a long time their ballasts were really good. The 3rd gens started to decline a little bit towards the end of the run as Westinghouse started having some financial problems, likely because of how well they made these things, and other ventures they were doing at the time. I'm sure were a big factor in that. And yeah, so it's pretty cool. Go ahead and monitor the power draw here. Since it's not very bright yet, it's yeah, these Iwasaki lamps take a little while to warm up. I don't know why they do, but every single one I own takes a longer time to warm up than my other Mercs. So, power factor on this ballast is typically around 0.95 to 96. So, it's a new old stock ballast. I guess it's not in perfect shape, but whatever. It's a pretty heavy fixture too, actually. These weigh probably about 70 pounds, maybe 60 to 70 pounds, somewhere in that range. And these also are the longest medium-sized Cobra head ever made at 39 inches long, which is a bit excessive, honestly, but proportionally speaking, it does work really well. And I guess they did give a lot of space in there for the ballast to cool. I've always just liked how streamlined these things are. It was a really, really good design, and I kind of wish they continued making them exactly like this beyond the 70s. I would say right now there's probably still hundreds of these left, lighting up the streets every night locally. Of course, that isn't as many as we used to have, but, you know, people crashing into poles, or median replacements take out a lot of them because they do these big projects and the contractors mess them up or whatever. Or they're like, oh, we'll just upgrade the lighting while we're in here. We have budget surplus money. Boo. Things like that happen. And so then, over time, these things get taken down. Plus the ballasts out here, they do fail because of the weather we've got. The capacitors can't handle the constant heat, and then sometimes the cold snaps after heat, so it's a big drop in temperature, things like that. So a lot of them have failed because of that, or they'll get knocked over, or they have areas where they had these and they went to HPS entirely. So a bunch of different factors, but they're still really common overall. Pretty much every area of the state has a bunch of these left, because they were very, very, very popular in utilities out here and the highway department too. So, not hard to find around me at all. And really, even to this day, nationally speaking, they're still pretty common-ish. They were used almost everywhere. And for good reason too. They look great, last a really long time, well made. So, and they have really good light distribution too. I'd say this and the American Electric 25, ITT 25, and the Series 125 have the best Cobra head distribution. Plus the OV-25 EB, obviously, but that kind of is a given. It's the same lens. And also the OVM has really good distribution. Really anything that uses this reflector and lamp combination does too. So, or reflector and refractor combo. The Cooper hammer shoebox, which is the same thing, can be ordered with this lens, and that's also really good. Then the what else? The Cooper ORL floodlight, which is just the hammer shoebox with a floodlight attachment. Same thing. And then the Canadian OV-25, which is a shorter version of this by 3 inches and a little different. That also is the same. So the OVD I don't really mention because the distribution's a little different because it has a different reflector in it. It's still not bad, but it's not quite as good as these. It still uses the same glass though. I don't know if it's even at full brightness yet. I don't think so. Yeah, it's not. No, it's nowhere near that. It's at 245 watts. But honestly, due to the length of the video, I think I'm gonna end it before the light gets to full brightness, just because I don't feel it's really worth getting all the way there. Everyone knows what clear mercury looks like at full brightness, and if you don't know, I've got other videos that it shows it, so I think that's it. I bought this bulb 2 years before Japan banned mercury products entirely and they stopped making these. So I feel pretty lucky that I actually did that, because I didn't know they were going to stop making them. I thought they were going to keep making them. But yeah, so that's pretty much everything I have to say about it. Sorry this video is pretty long, but I hope you enjoyed, and thank you for watching. Let you see the little end glow here. Cool down, and yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed.